Guys, as many of us get older, we will lose our hair. The numbers don't lie. 2 out of 3 men will experience hair loss by the time they reach 35. Fortunately, it doesn't have to be this way. At After the Checkered Flag, we're happy to partner with Keeps, which offers clinically proven treatments to stop hair loss and improve hair growth. And what makes Keeps even better is it's all done in an efficient and discreet way where you receive quality, expert care without ever visiting a doctor's office or pharmacy. All Keeps treatment plans are doctor recommended and delivered straight to your door at a fraction of the cost of your standard pharmacy. Guys, seriously, if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought you wanted to do something about keeping your hair or stimulate hair growth, now is the time. Keeps has a network of medical advisors and specialists who want to make your hair goals a reality. And each plan includes a full year of unlimited messaging, allowing you to communicate with your prescribing doctor about anything in your treatment. Now is your chance to get started. Head over to keeps.com/after the checkered flag to get 50% off your first order of hair loss treatment. Based on his wildly successful partnership with Jimmie Johnson, Chad Knaus will go down as one of the greatest crew chiefs in NASCAR Cup Series history. As a result, he's one of the most respected minds in the garage. He stepped off the pit box for a final time in 2020 after working with William Byron and is now the vice president of competition at Hendrick Motorsports. Holding that title at one of the juggernauts of the sport, you can be sure Knaus not only knows what's going on at HMS, but he's also aware of the behind-the-scenes conversations with NASCAR. Knaus has watched 17 Cup Series races in the next-gen car this year and witnessed a disturbing pattern develop during that time, with 11 separate incidents when cars have lost wheels. Just a couple of months ago, Knaus listened to one of his proteges, defending Cup Series champion crew chief Cliff Daniels, as he offered his blunt assessment of the frightening situation during an appearance on SiriusXM NASCAR radio.
I hate that I'm going to have to say it, but it's the truth. The razor-thin line that we're on right now from having a fast pit stop and having a potential issue is smaller than it has ever been. And believe it or not, there is more complexity and nuance in the single-lug pit stop than there was in the 5-lug pit stop. And I know that's really hard to believe, but a lot of it does boil down to limitations that we have with the current pit gun. A few things that I'm going to say are inadequate with the safety mechanisms that are supposed to keep the wheel nut from falling off, that I don't believe you can blame the teams and the tire changers, the pit performers, every single time for what we've seen this year. Right. I would say that NASCAR needs to step up, and NASCAR needs to improve the pit guns. NASCAR needs to improve the stuff that we're using.
Daniels wasn't done and pointed out the way NASCAR addresses each incident isn't helping the situation, but making it even worse.
And the other thing that's really, kind of mind-blowing is the penalties that they give out. So what's already very, very difficult to do for a pit stop, right? And we have, really hand-picked guys that have been brought up through our systems, and these are obviously all the teams that are, having their own in-house pit crews that are so trained, and we're trying to make them experts in their area. If something fails or if something doesn't go according to plan, and a wheel, heaven forbid, comes off, which we all agree is a massive safety issue, we're then going to make it an even bigger safety issue the next time that team comes to the track, because we're going to suspend 2 of those guys for 4 weeks that are the best experts that team has at the time to put on their car. So we're going to go ahead and put them on the sideline for 4 weeks, and we're going to bring in 2 guys that are less experienced to go pit the car and do the same thing. So that in itself just doesn't make sense.
Since Daniels made those comments in April, there have been multiple loose wheels. Ironically, one of them came off the number 5 car at Sonoma in June, and Daniels is currently in the midst of serving out his 4-race suspension. This week, Knaus made one of his regular appearances as a guest on NASCAR Race Hub, where he and Jamie McMurray discussed the numerous issues Bubba Wallace and his team have experienced this season, including loose wheels on multiple occasions. While the conversation centered around the number 23 team, Knaus pointed out it's much bigger than that.
And nobody in the industry is immune to this right now, right? I think look, to say we don't have a problem is just blind, right?
We said it earlier. The 11th tire to get away for Chris Buescher the other night, right?
Right. Like you can't deny that we've got a mechanical issue. Yes, we can say all that we want that, if they slow down, they do it right, this, that, and the other. You can't do that in a competitive environment, right? We've got to make some adjustments as an industry. But you have to realize that as it's going from Hendrick Motorsports to Gibbs to Roush to every team in the industry has gone through this. Just about it's you can't pinpoint folks. Like it's we've got to get to work on it as a group. And
interestingly, a few minutes later, he had more to say on the issue, and it sounded eerily familiar.
To address this, there's something else I want to put out there real quick. So they had an issue in COTA, right? Wheel came loose.
Yep.
That. Honestly, from my opinion, I think that was a mechanical problem, right, that resulted in a loose wheel. Wheel comes off. Then you take the guys that they thought were the best that were on that pit crew, and you take them off, right? So those guys aren't participating anymore. So how many of those penalties were a result of those guys that were the better guys not being on that team?
Daniels was spot on back in April. Knaus is correct now. Incredibly, NASCAR has watched cars repeatedly lose wheels since the first race of the season back in February. And instead of addressing the problems as Daniels and Knaus have suggested, they've instead chosen to blame the teams and penalize them for it. Obviously, it's not working. All everyone can hope is the next time it happens, because you know it will, that another car doesn't hit the wheel and send it into the stands and kill someone like it has happened before in other series. If that tragedy comes to fruition, NASCAR officials can't say they weren't warned, and will sadly only have themselves to blame.